Stop asking new moms if they're getting any sleep or rest. It's one of the most annoying questions you could ever ask a mother of a newborn. Stop. Period. I can feel your heart. Okay, y'all. So I had to make a few notes because this video may get a bit emotional for me. I'm going to do my best not to. I'll try to edit as much as I can. Because it gets awkward when you start seeing folks crying and stuff. But now this is something that I've been very open about. Ever since I finally expressed to my husband that I had postpartum depression after my first child. He's 5 now. My husband didn't know until he was 2.5 that I had postpartum depression the whole first year of my son's life. So let me go into a little bit of personal history so I can kind of break it down for you. Now, I had my first son in 2019 in November. So there's lots of factors that play into what led up to mine. So wintertime, maternity leave in the house, just you and a small baby, a new baby that you are expected to keep alive and you don't know what to do. 2 weeks after giving birth, I lost my grandfather. And which is my mom's father. And so not only was I going through that emotionally, I didn't get to have my mom by my side for my first child because that was her father. So she was grieving when I needed her. And there's no grudge. I completely understand that because I could never imagine. She was a daddy's girl. She is a daddy's girl. We always still talk about him. And so not only that did my pawpaw pass, my twin sister was having a surgery that my mom also had to be there for. So basically, I'm navigating my maternity leave on my own. My husband had to go back to work 2 weeks after, 2 weeks after I had our son. So here I am alone, navigating all these hormones and new feelings and a new normal. I'm adjusting to a new normal practically by myself. I had a support system, so I'm not negating any of that, but the day ins and the day outs, I was essentially alone. And so that's my foot on this chair. And so that played a part into it. 8 weeks into my maternity leave, I had to go back to work. And so here I am finally getting into a routine with this new tiny human that I had. And I go back to work and I'm expected to have this relationship and nurturing and caring for a human. Like, I always knew postpartum depression was a thing, but I never thought that it was a thing that would happen to me. So here I am at work, supposed to just adjust to being back at work, and you have this tiny human at home, or in my case, my mother was watching him for me, so she was pretty clutch on that. But these hormones, I never ever knew. I knew I wasn't sleeping. I knew I wasn't eating well. I knew I was losing weight. Again, I just chalked it up to, oh, it's my thyroid trying to get back into the swing of things. I'll eventually catch up and it'll regulate. 6 months go by. I barely remember anything from my child's life. 7 months goes by. 8 months. Finally, his first year of life, and we're celebrating birthdays and everything, and I'm looking back on pictures and I look like this star mom. Oh, I'm killing the game in my first year of motherhood. Don't ask me anything about it because I don't remember. And that's how depression looks. You put on these plastic smiles. You just go through the motions and the routine of life. All the while you're keeping these thoughts in your mind like, am I good enough? Am I really doing well? Like, you can barely even focus on yourself because you're too busy worried about everybody else. And that's the most heartbreaking part of postpartum depression. It was not until I was in my after he turned 1, that I was like, dang, that's a problem. I don't remember his life. These emotional mood swings, and that's when I started talking about it openly, because I'm like, I can't be the only one going through this type of stuff. And so at that point, when you go to the doctor for your postpartum checkups and stuff like that, oh, so how are you doing? And ladies, now you're scared to tell the doctor, I don't feel well. Mentally, I don't feel well. I'm feeling worthless. I'm feeling guilty for worrying about myself. I'm feeling inadequate. I'm not sleeping. Nobody is really going to open up to your provider and say all of that, because let's face it, you're too afraid of the consequences. Are they going to send me to St. Mary's and put me on the 7th floor? Are they going to call me crazy? If I talk to my family about this, will they call me crazy? Like, stop worrying about all that. What you need to do, seriously, tell somebody that you're not feeling well. So if somebody's coming over to your house to check on you, do not tell them that you're doing okay if you know you're not. That is your time to get a trusted friend, get a trusted provider, and have these discussions. Being honest with yourself and saying, I'm not getting any sleep. I'm not eating. I do over worry about my child. I worry about things that may never happen, but for some reason I'm putting a lot of stock into those worries. Talk to somebody. Seriously, don't do what I did. Do not let the whole first year of your child's life go by and everything's a blur because you were too busy going through the routine of things. So like I said, I ended up going to the doctor before I decided to get pregnant with my second child, because I was too afraid that I would go through the same thing. And I did. And I was on medication. I was taking my medication that was safe for breastfeeding and pregnancy. Like, I started like a whole year before I even got pregnant. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be able to do it this time. Had my baby. Everything, was going well. You pass through a little 2-week window, and then all of a sudden, I'm dropping weight because I'm like, oh, dang, I didn't even eat today. And I'm sleeping on the couch, wake up, and I'm, caring for the baby. And then I'm just like, dang, it's happening again. Again, I'm very open about my situation because, like I said, I know it can help somebody. But it's a scary thing to not be in control of your thoughts. I will tell you, it's all hormones. It's your body. You spent 9 months with your hormones feeding into growing a human. And so when you go through labor and you lose all of those hormones, your body just goes crazy trying to deal with those. And so I want you to, like I said, just be honest with yourself. Pay attention to the warning signs. I had to make notes for myself because there is a spectrum of postpartum issues. So let's see. So baby blues, those are typically the first 2 weeks after pregnancy. um, after delivery, excuse me. And so that includes signs and symptoms very similar to postpartum depression and anxiety. So let's see, baby blues, mood swings, irritable moods, crying, sleep disturbance, like either sleeping too much or not enough, trouble with concentrating, resentment almost to the baby. Within the, like I said, the first 2 weeks, that's normal, or not normal, but that would be baby blues. And it is common, is what I meant to say. Now, postpartum anxiety, that is when you're overly worried, either about the baby, something harming the baby. You're up because you can't sleep because you're too worried about sudden infant death syndrome, like SIDS, and you know, so you're like constantly staring at your baby. Are they breathing? Am I doing the right things? You know, like you're constantly worried about the baby's safety, everything. That's postpartum anxiety. Now, postpartum depression, you can have postpartum anxiety and depression, either or. Now, postpartum depression, this is also after that 2-week window of the baby blues. That one is feeling depressed, withdrawn, mood swings, irritability, feeling inadequate, guilty, shame, not feeling happy, feeling a sense of worthlessness, helplessness, hopelessness, all of those things. Even, let's be real, even some thoughts of, man, maybe I don't need to be here for this baby because I'm not a good enough mom. And I would be lying if I said I never ever thought that with both of my babies. I've never acted on it. But if you can be honest with yourself and be like, there's some days I just don't want to wake up. I've thought that before. Anyways, but I thank God I'm past that. This is just me being real with y'all. And so let's see, in the most extreme and rare, the furthest end of the spectrum is postpartum psychosis. When you hear about those new moms that kill the baby or kill themselves, that's postpartum psychosis. That's when they're delusional, paranoid, hallucinating. You hear about those moms that lock themselves in the house with the baby because they're afraid somebody's out to get them. That's postpartum psychosis, and that is terrifying. I've only heard of a couple of stories of that happening, and that is so sad, to be that stuck in your mind. And so that's why I said, stop asking new moms, are you getting any rest? Are you getting any sleep? No. Ask her, sis, can I watch the baby while you take time for yourself? Can I bring you a meal? Because I know you don't have time to do it for yourself. Tell me your thoughts. What's going on in your mind from day to day? Are you having healthy thoughts? Let's discuss the thoughts that aren't so healthy. Like, there are ways to get the answers you want without outright saying, I hope you ain't having no crazy thoughts, or I hope you're doing okay mentally. Are you getting any sleep? I hate that question, Lord. So be delicate with new moms. It could be their first, second, third, fourth, fifth child. Hormones are no joke. They are annoying. Because a lot of times women don't know that they're going through this until they've been asked. Like I said, I've rattled off the symptoms and the signs. Ask some of those signs or symptoms. And if they're saying yes to some of those, you need to say, hey sis, you've expressed that you're feeling sad and angry and irritable, and let's talk. Maybe you need to see the doctor, you know? So again, that was my experience. And I know some ladies personally have messaged me saying, thank you for this, for me making this video and speaking out about those difficult conversations. So you all have a blessed Sunday. And if you're going through it, you can message me. I love y'all, and you are an awesome mom. You're more than adequate.